What's good? What's good? Here with another one for y'all, man. I'm just viewing this video here, man. This Dr. Umar joint, man. This joint was crazy, man. I thought it was, man, it's like an insight into what's going on in this world today. Like this stuff we be hearing about and stuff, man. I mean, man, with the confusion, man. It's the confusion, bro. The confusion. So check this out, though.
Thursday. I'm straight today. It's Thursday. What do you mean you straight today is Thursday, brother? Be honest with me, brother. Are you straight? Are you gay? What? I really want to solve a problem. You with the Malcolm X photo? Yeah. What's going on? All right. Are you homosexual, bisexual, trans woman, or heterosexual? Yo, your question, and I know your intentions is to not be disrespectful. So as somebody in the community, I will say. Somebody in what community? In the queer community, that your approach is a bit harsh in terms of your language. Okay, so let me ask you a question,
So I'm gonna first off go with this. Right, I get this. Like I'm trying to on the psychological joint, like Umar on the joint, like I say, but I'm trying to hit points that he didn't hit. Like, so first off, they want. It's like what I'm hearing is because these titles like gay, right? It might have been like a derogatory term, or like I think bisexual is a good joint though. I don't think there ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But like maybe they look at gay as in like derogatory. But see, that's the crazy shit, right? Just recently, gay is used for homosexuals. Like it won't even used the same way. You feel me? Like that wasn't even the purpose of the word gay. It was happy before. So now they switch that over. So now they switching out of the gay joint. See, people how I go, because homosexual is going to mean the same thing. Regardless, you don't say homosexual. Homosexual, it means the same sex, right? No matter what sex is, period. Like, right? Then bisex, it means basically both sexes. The two, because it's two sexes. So it's like, it ain't no third or fourth or fifth. Either you a male or a woman, right? Or you got both parts type shit. Either way, you got male and female parts, anatomy, like, right? And then sometimes you might have a male with high estrogen, or you might have a female with high testosterone, right? But like I said, you got a male with high estrogen, right? Or a female with high testosterone. So it's just like, it's like that, but it's still like, you know what I'm saying? When you come out like that. And these are the two sexes that reproduce. This is what made all of these people who saying this, that, and the other, who ain't this, that, and the other. You feel me? Like, and another sauce on it is this new age shit with, oh yeah, man, you can get these sex changes and all of this shit. And this is all promoted, man. This is all mainstream shit, bro. This is Hollywood. This is the rap game. This is all of that. Like, this is that, right? And now we're just jumping into this confusion. Like, the rappers and stuff was wearing dresses and stuff, man. It's like a ritual, man. The rappers, the actors, you know what I'm saying? So the politicians, we know they up there and they're secretly doing whatever they're doing. But yeah, let's keep going.
I'm here to be educated, my brother. Okay, I'm here to be educated, and we're here to educate you guys as well. And of course, we all come in the spirit of respect. Now, when I ask people if they are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, or heterosexual, I'm asking that so I can understand their personal frame of reference. So, for example, last night's conversation was about light skin supremacy and dark skin supremacy in the black community. So everyone who came on, I asked them, are you light skin, brown skin, dark skin, or mixed race? So I need you to explain to me, my brother, when I ask you, are you homosexual, bisexual, trans woman, or heterosexual, why is that considered harsh?
Because that language is for you. I said I'm in the queer community, so that.
Okay, so how does, and again, I want you to educate me. You're in the queer community. How does queer differ from homosexual, bisexual, trans woman? Queer.
So we're gonna go through this real quick, right?
Queer.
Right? Adjective, queer, comparative adjective, queer, right? All of that, right? So number one, say strange or odd, and that's the one he gonna move with, he, she, or whatever. It's gonna move with. So like it's confusing now. We can't even say like he or she. We can't put feminine parts and masculine parts on the languages because of this community now. Like you feel me? Like this is gonna like this ripples the languages because it's like in different languages the word is masculine or feminine based on nature, right? So you're not identifying with either. You're not identifying with nature. What's going on? You feel me? So this is what's real. Like if you gay, you gay. Like you know, you like what you like, right? You straight, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's like ain't nobody really judging you for that. But it's the confusion where everybody walking around not knowing what's what, who. And then people was like, yeah, I don't identify this, that, I'm queer. It's like, yeah, that means you basically saying that you're homosexual or you're gay. You're saying you're not straight, right? So, right, I'm not really sure what data informal means, but it says slightly ill. He was feeling rather queer. So the similar definition for that would be ill, unwell, or poorly. And then often offensive of a person homosexual, right? Like we was just saying, denoting or relating to a sexual or gender identity that does not correspond to established identities of sexuality and gender, especially heterosexual norms. So they just going against, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, the norm. Queer Greek geek culture has featured gay themes since the 1980s, right? So this is some new shit. This is what I'm saying. And now plural, a gay man, right? This is what they saying, the offensive, whatever that means. The all right, so we're gonna keep going here. So the origins of the word queer is oblique or perverse, and that come out of Germany. That's German, right? And it came out here in the 1600s. And we're gonna see down here that it won't really use like that. Right, so we're gonna go back to the 1600s. We're gonna go all the way. Let's go to 2022, all the way to today. So that way we can see the growth of this word. We see, okay, into a year between, okay, you can't go that high. 2019, okay. So we see right here, 1600. They said that's when it started out here. Around probably the 1500s, right? But they ain't come out here to the 1600s, right? So that's the German shit. If it came from Germany, it wasn't used out here in the early 1600s. That's what that was some new shit. And you see that right here, the jump of it in the 1800s, right there, bam, 1802. You see I'm on mark, and then go over. You see it's some new shit, right? 1921. this shit was rising. But it wasn't rising in the black community. That shit wasn't being used in our community like that. Like if you just did your dick, you do. And people was probably doing their thing on the low, but they was just doing their thing on the low. And they understood the associations. If you had asked them, they just probably wouldn't have wanted to admit that they was, you know what I'm saying, getting it, you know what I mean? But yeah, so bam. So we kill it, we see the rise over time of the word, right? Because it's a new word. So let's get back to it.
Means what? Educate me.
Just in the community. I mean, you will really have to sit down and you ain't trying to talk political, so I'm trying to talk politics too.
Okay.
I'm just
well, tell me what it means to you to be queer. Because when you say you're queer, you're saying that you're not. Are you saying that you are or you are not homosexual, bisexual, or trans woman?
If there's this thing, what does it mean to you? Like this the thing. Like I just showed you. Like this word comes from Germans, right? They was using this word, and with them it meant oblique or perverse, right? Perverse. That's what the word meant. Like so, don't be like, oh man, what it mean to me is nah, bro. And then we go over here and we see what these people recorded as in their books, the people who created the word that you use. Now you want to take the word and redefine it to your own little thing. And that's where it's at. You just don't want to be called these things or labeled these labels because they have offensive histories. And I get that, right? So like, yeah, don't call me that. But this shit is confusing as motherfucker, right? Now we look at this word, right? And we see the meaning of this word. It said unwell somewhere. Like, what did it say? Okay, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going with it.
When you say
I am not straight.
Okay, you're not straight. Stay with me. Okay, because I'm learning. You're not. Stay with me.
I am.
Okay, you're not straight. I got that part. You're not homosexual either. Is that correct?
Yeah, see, that's where it's funny because I'm sure when you say homosexual, you're talking about two cis men, right? Two gay men.
No. When I say homosexual, for me, a man having romantic interactions with another man,
right,
is homosexuality. So you?
Okay, so now, right? So it's like, well, what do you mean by homosexuality? What do you mean by it's like I ain't even trying to be funny, man. What do you mean by homosexual? It's like, bro, the definition of homosexual is sexually attracted to people of one's own sex. So the question is, are you attracted to your own sex? The sex that you was given at birth, right? That you came out your mama, right? So now we're like, right? Involving characteristics by sexual attraction between people of the same sex, homosexual desire, right? Homo, same, sexual, English people, right? This word came out. Came out the English. I guess that's what they ain't going back like that. Had to look up the etymology of it directly. So we see. Oh, I went to the wrong joint. There we go. All right. Bam, homosexual. This word won't even being used to early 1900s. This is some new shit. This is, man, go back to like the Boule and the agenda and all of that shit like that. The plan of depopulation. Like, it ain't no offense to nobody who homosexual. You feel me? But understand that this spike like this got something to do with the declination of the people, like the seed, you know what I'm saying, to stop reproduction. And then the ones who reproduce, you put them in situations where where they're dependent. And then they putting shit in the food and all of the shit and all of that, the jabs and all that shit like that. So we ain't gonna get into that right now. I mean, it's deep. All of this, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
So you do not have relations with other men.
No, no, I don't.
Okay, so you're not homosexual, so which automatically means you can't be bisexual, right? Because if you don't have relations with men, you're not bisexual either. You're not a trans woman. So help me out, my brother. You see me trying to get some clarity from you. What does queer mean? That means your sex is what? What do you do? What is queer? We're trying to learn from y'all now. Y'all can't get upset at us, and we're trying to understand you. What is queer?
Yeah, so you're trying to understand, right?
Queer, yes. What does queer? You said you're queer. What does...
You're trying to understand what I do in the bedroom or what my political ideology is?
Both. What does queer mean? Sexually, what is a queer? I would like to know that. And politically, where do you stand?
So queer by definition means weird and has been, reclaimed to an extent politically and socially and culturally by the quote-unquote non-heterosexual community, because there's lots of labels and ways in which people identify. It's not very stringent as the quote-unquote LGBTQ alphabet, but queer just means pretty much, outside of the norms, outside of the stringent relations. Talking about outside of that.
Okay. Question for you. So you could engage in homosexual relations as a queer person, correct?
Sure.
Okay, gotcha. So queer is you're not choosing any specific. You're not choosing homosexual. You're not choosing bisexual. You're just queer. You're outside of the heterosexual dichotomy.
Absolutely.
I got you.
That's a pretty good, intro.
So that's pretty much it right there. Like, he just said he engages in homosexual activities, right? So, like, let's go back on that. Make sure I got that right, because I don't want to mess nothing up here.
Choosing bisexual, you're just queer. You're outside of the heterosexual dichotomy.
Absolutely.
I got you.
That's a pretty good, intro.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. I assumed by your voice that you were born a biological male. Was I correct in that assumption?
I would probably stay away from assumptions.
Well, I'm at.
And see, this is what's up. You be confused, right? You be confused. That's what he's saying. I would stay away from assumptions, man. Cause look, you be fucked up thinking that I was a man. That's what he's saying. You be fucked up thinking that I came out as a man. I would stay away from assumptions, because assumptions will get you fucked up around here. This is how you can't tell what I am, like that right there. That's what he's saying.
Okay, no. Well, what were you born? Were you born biologically a man or a woman?
I also would challenge this idea that those are the only two options, but we haven't gotten to the politics, so are we doing...
Okay, but... So, and that's the thing, so... let's keep going. I want to let him ride a minute.
Okay, but no, we going right to the politics, but can I get some clarity on that, though, my brother?
It's this idea that those are the only two options, but we haven't gotten to the politics, so are we doing...
we going right to the politics, but can I get some clarity on that, though, my brother? Because again, y'all cannot be hypocritical, and what I mean by that, when we're trying to understand you, now we might forever disagree, but I at least want to understand you. There's people who disagree with me, but I at least want them to understand me. I don't care if they disagree with me, but I want them to understand what they're disagreeing with. I don't want them disagree with me for what I really stand for, not for what you think. So when you just said you would disagree that man and woman are not the only two gender options at birth, could you give me some additional gender assignments that can occur at birth? Because I thought you could only be born a man or a woman. So how else can you come out of your mother at birth?
Answer that, please.
Well, firstly, you were born a baby. Secondly, as regards your sex, there are also intersex individuals who are anywhere in it is a spectrum in terms of your biological or your physical makeup, whether that's your secondary sex characteristics, your hormonal levels, your genitalia, all of these things.
I understand. Some folks are born. Some folks are born different. What were you born?
Okay.
What were you born?
I was assigned female at birth.
Okay, you were assigned female at birth. And how do you?
We gotta hit this real quick. Intersex with a T, right? Crazy refers to one's sex characteristics. Chromosomes and hormone levels are sex characteristics, but genitals, intersex organs, those are primary sex characteristics. And breast development and body hair distribution, those are secondary sex characteristics. Chromosomes and hormone levels are sex characteristics, but genitals, intersex organs, those are primary sex characteristics, and breast development and body hair distribution, those are secondary characteristics as well. Thus, intersex between the sexes. So, what are we talking about, bro? What that got to do with him asking you what sex you is, bro? What is this, man? What is it? See, that's what I'm saying. Intersexual. Let's check it out. Intersexual. Intersex is a general term used for a variety of situations in which a person is born with reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't fit the boxes of female or male. Sometimes doctors do surgery on intersex babies and children to make their bodies fit binary ideas of male or female. Wow. Intersex. That's kind of crazy. So, people would think that sound like, let's check it out, right? I don't know how new this is to y'all, bro. Intersex kitten or what? How to express their true intersex or own their physical sex. So you will be considered an intersex. It's a general term used for the variety of situations in which a person is born. Okay. Male, female, or intersex. So he said he was born as a female, right? So you had to do that just to tell him you was born as a female. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't no intersex being. So why we had to go through that confusion, right? Because they didn't fit your characteristics. So let's keep going here.
I know you mentioned queer. Now, is queer sexual orientation or is queer also a gender preference?
Yeah.
It's both.
It's all the above.
It's all of the above. Okay, so when you say you're queer, you're not assuming man and woman, and you're not assuming any particular sexual orientation.
Facts.
Gotcha. Thank you for that education. Give me your politics, my brother. What is it that the heterosexual black community needs to understand about you in particular and the Black LGBT movement in general? Give us some political positions.
The first thing Black people need to understand is that the experience of Black people is their primary experience, period.
Okay.
Just like you cannot choose to be heterosexual before you choose to be Black, right? If that is a choice you make,
okay.
Right? You are seen as Black before anybody knows what you got going on.
I agree.
Blackness is just the experience. So I think it is, even though it may not be intended to be disrespectful, to ask somebody if they're gay first or if they are Black first, it is a facetious point at this point.
I don't think it's facetious though, my brother. And the reason excuse me, my sister, the reason I'm saying that, and I want your response, is because
he confused the hell out of Umar. You gonna peep it later on. You gonna see he confused the hell out of one of the callers too. This is what I'm saying.
A lot of Black LGBTQs, they wave that flag, and they only come out to protest or stand up when it involves the sexual agenda. You don't see them when it involves regular Black issues. I'm not talking about all of y'all, but I don't think you can call it facetious. We cannot assume that Black LGBTs feel that they are Black first, because I've heard Black LGBTs say that they were not Black first, I've heard some say they were gay first or queer first. I've had others say that they were both. So not everybody in your community, good sister.
That's another thing. Like, in my opinion, this community also, like we got the it was the lesbians and the gays, right? The guys, and we see here like gay, right, is homosexual use especially of a man, right? We're gonna go into it, but it says right here homosexual, right? So the word gay ain't really, it says use especially of a man. The word gay fits as bisexual as well. It could be seen as bisexual, or not bisexual, but both sexes. Like if lesbians are gay as well, in other words, right? Okay, so here we go. So here we go. Lighthearted and carefree. That was the old definition of it, right? Right, color. You know what I'm saying? How they twisted the word around, and now is this now, and that's just confusion like a mug. So check it out.
Assumes Black first.
Out of respect, friends.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep it to a strict he/him pronoun on this stage.
Okay. I got you.
Make things super simple.
Okay.
And I hear what you're saying. I would urge like people in the crowd, yourself included, to do a little bit of a digging, because there are quite a few queer, homosexual, gay, whatever you want to call them, leading figures in terms of Black liberation politics.
Oh, I agree with that. But don't confuse the individuals with the group, though. You understand?
No.
That's just like saying a couple gangster rappers who don't spew misogyny in their music, or a couple gangster rappers who don't promote light-skin supremacy. Just because you might know a couple rappers who don't use profanity in their music, the truth of the matter is the hip-hop genre, you understand, is a very skin color prejudiced community. You understand? So you can't say just because a few people are looking out for the whole Black community, that means the whole LGBT family is looking out for the whole Black community. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I mean, I can say that for any particular demographic within the Black community.
I agree with that.
And I think you would agree with this also, particularly heterosexual Black men.
What about
I find that a lot of these protests to protect Black men from police brutality have been led by Black women and Black queer folk. And that's just being present at them. I also think that it is it's difficult to think that people are choosing their sexuality first. I mean, when people choose to ascend in terms of class, to leave the majority of black people and exploit the majority of black population. You're Pan-African, right?
Yes, yes.
Right, and so we understand that, class exploitation is extremely prevalent, especially globally when it comes to black bodies, right?
True. Racism is worse, though.
Right. So what do you think that the not the new house Negroes, but the continued house Negroes are those who are actually sitting in the house with the white people? Class wise.
Okay. If they're sitting in the house with the white people, the question becomes, are they advocating for us, or are they simply there to collaborate with the oppressor?
First off, okay, so I'm peeping this shit. So I know Black Lives Matter was started by some lesbians, right? No, I'm seeing what he's saying. I guess I understand. Like, we, as far as straight black men though, we don't move like, I don't know, man. What I'm gonna say is this: like, when they march Black Lives Matter, they're not marching for black straight men. Black straight men don't have their own march for them. See what I'm saying? Like, that's bullshit, bro. Marching for straight black men? Nah, you marching for black men. That's what the case is. And y'all will also come out there and march for yourselves, the gay shit. And I ain't trying to be funny when I say it like that. Like, gay shit. Like, but yeah, that's what, you know what I'm saying? We ain't out there. We locked up. Tell you the truth. The type of black man that they talking about that's getting beat up and all of that, these brothers ain't out here in this shit here. See what I'm saying? They're not. Like, we fight and we want better, but like, we don't think this shit is the way. Not all of us even agree with this shit. These guys, they got their own little movement where they'll go out there and march and talk and shit and talk and march, and this ain't right. And you know, I mean, that's kind of like feminine is what I'm trying to get at. This whole approach of going outside and marching peacefully is feminine as a motherfucker, right? Meanwhile, the aggressor holding nightsticks and machine guns and armor and shit, right? They got like tear gas and all type of shit. These guys is a stage in advance, right? So that way, just to lead the masses, and they ready to shoot them down with guns and shit, right? You come out there with a gun, but this shit ain't no real black man, straight black man type shit. This is mother, sister, maybe son type shit. But that man, he a doer. He needs to be productive, not marching around screaming type shit. Like, and I saw like they was like scared of Malcolm because them brothers was organized. You feel me? So that's the type of shit that they scared of. Not this marching for, like, this shit ain't gonna get us nowhere. We was marching and begging and shit. This is begging and marching shit. Like, how do we expect to change going outside begging, holding up signs and shit? Like, the black male, right, need to be building shit, gateways, passageways out, not marching. He like, oh yeah, man, we be marching for the black. Like, that shit don't mean nothing, bro. All of that shit orchestrated. Don't you know that they got people in there directing that shit? Man, it's a bunch of agents in that shit with signs and all, man, leading that shit, making them aggressive and all of this shit like this, all of these movements, the one that Trump got and all of this shit. It's like, bro, are you serious? And these just some more niggas in the street, some more motherfuckers. Everybody in the street marching. Like it's gonna change something. If it changes, because that's the narrative. And all of a sudden, they give black people credit and start letting us get this and that on the TV. And then you start seeing them. As soon as they give us credit, they start pushing the homosexual agenda side by side with it. You know what I'm saying? Now you see more black people on TV, but you seeing them like with white people. You're seeing them like, you know what I'm saying, homosexual relationships. It's confusing relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they pushing for us right here. This is the agenda. Let's keep it going.
Are they?
I don't know. Who are we speaking of?
I mean, I would say roughly, I don't believe that there is a middle class, so I won't even address those who were making under $1 million or so dollars a year. But those who have ascended past that marker of middle class status, what do you think that do you not think that
most of them are lined up with the white power structure? Most of them are lined up with the white power structure.
So I would say, in terms of my politic, that anti-capitalism is primary in terms of protecting black people globally.
Anti-racism, Queen. Anti-racism.
I also...
You follow me? There would be no classism without the racism. White supremacy invented capitalism. Capitalism didn't invent white supremacy.
Okay, so I got to correct Umar on that one, because we was all taught that everything we got come from Egypt, including the law system. And you see the pharaohs, they was like the presidents and shit over here. They was like ruling over the people. They had more than everybody else. They had the tax system and all of that shit. That shit moved. It just moved over here. The same system, bro. And it's like the that system, that purple system, where it's all about like the royalty. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit, because that's why they saying now that it's coming out the last couple of years that all the presidents been related. Let's get right. Let's get right. It's the same system, brother.
Let me ask you this. If you take away class, do you still have racism?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So racism is the issue. In other words, let's destroy racism and its capitalist child.
Okay, so I would say that capitalism as a mode, as a global mode, was born out of the transatlantic slave trade, was born out of white supremacist ideology, etc.
They both wrong.
It is racialized capitalism. There is no separate. So when I say capitalism, I'm insinuating the inherency of racial and white supremacist ideology embedded in that.
What is your position on the black LGBT community uniting with and integrating with the white LGBT community? Where are you on that? Are you an LGBTQ integrationist? Are you a nationalist? Do you believe y'all should fight your own fight separate from the whites?
No, I'm pro-black, and I would urge the rest of black people to hop on that bandwagon to protect all black people, regardless of if they are cis heterosexual men or any of the other bodies who are typically experiencing intracommunal violence from cis heterosexual men. But yeah, so no, I think that the only people who are the closest that we can even get to in terms of like the house Negroes or the weakest links or the people who are exploiting us the most are actually straight and are actually men, because they are able to ascend in this patriarchal society in particular ways, whether you want to look at statistics, whether you want to look at and are actually men.
Hold on, let's go back.
In terms of like the house Negroes or the weak
house Negroes, check them out.
But so no, I think that the only people who are the closest that we can even get to in terms of like the house Negroes or the weakest links or the people who are exploiting us the most are actually straight and are actually men.
Now this is what I'm saying here. He's saying that because the straight men have access to this fucking pyramid, right? That they have the ability to maneuver this. Peep this shit out, like we the ones like the blame type shit. Peep this shit.
In terms of like the house Negroes or the weakest links or the people who are exploiting us the most are actually straight and are actually men.
So the people who are exploiting us most these rappers, these politicians, these actors that come out wearing dresses, participate in gay roles, and you find out that they're a part of this agenda. You feel me? So it's like, what is bro talking about? Just earlier he was saying he was talking about the community and having political and a lot of political people being involved and they being like, gay or whatever, queer, whatever he was saying. Like, but now he's saying like the ones that responsible who actually climbed the ladder are actually straight. Bro, like, which side is you going with here? Like, dude, really full of some ish. Like, you gotta really understand what they saying. Like, it's just trying to flip the narrative and make it to his own like little joint, like to make it fit where he wanted to fit in his shit. You feel me? Like, nah, bro, we know that even Obama, nigga, they was talking about his wife being had sex change or whatever, about her not being a real woman. There's videos with her dancing, and you see right there where a penis would be jumping up and down in her skirt, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, really get down. Like, you know what I'm saying? They say she really ain't. He don't even call. He call her. What her name? Michelle. What he call her? Michael. He didn't call her Michael several times, bro. Everybody under suspicion that they are part of the same LGBT community influencing. Like, that's the president, bro. Like, come on with the chaos. Like, these guys are really leading and manipulating the people. When you turn on the TV, I was just saying, bro, you seeing gay dudes, bunch of gay black guys. They coming out, they performing and shit on TV. Bro, come on, bro. Get out of here, bro. He dancing. He dancing. Umar ain't gonna call him on it. That's why I had to make the video.
Because they are able to ascend in this patriarchal society in particular ways. Whether you want to look at statistics, whether you want to look at intracommunal violence, whether you want, whatever you want to look at.
Okay,
right? I don't think.
Are you talking about straight black men? You're not saying straight black men are the culprits, are you?
Culprits of what?
Of what you just spoke of. Those ills, the exploitation, and all of that. Because black men.
So I made two different points. I said that one, if we're going to talk about people who are quote unquote in the house Negroes, right, are the people who are able to ascend and even participate in the exploitation of, right.
And that is the gay people, bro. That's the gay people today, bro. That's the gay people, bro. The ones who good at like, bro. They create the industry, bro. The gay people run the industry, bro. Male and female, and it's a lot of males, bro. Feel me? All different colors, bro. Like, what are you talking? What is this exploitation that you're speaking of that the black male, straight male is a part of? To make a part 2 later.